Hello everybody, one and all, welcome back to another episode of Map Making with Sparks. We're on the Trutinor server as usual, welcome back. It's been a little while, I've been taking a bit of a break from this. I kind of almost burnt myself out getting ready for the Trutinor Castle Warfare map area test. But the test went really well, and we're now in the snapshot. We're in 14 week 07A, and there's been quite a lot of changes. A lot of the map now doesn't work because of the update, and that's because of the way that the command blocks have changed. Before, you could do things like you could do set block, something like this, and then you could do 1 for stone, right? So before, this would turn this into a stone block, but now it says no ID with 1. You have to actually type Minecraft stone for it to work. And although I was aware of this, every now and again, here and there are command blocks which are missing this format. There's also been a change which you physically couldn't do before, where if you want to give somebody an item, like if you want to give somebody the armor for the race, for the map, the armor needed to have the ID for the armor before. You couldn't type Minecraft diamond chestplate or whatever. You had to give the ID, and now you can't give the ID, you have to give the number. So there's lots of bits and bobs that are now missing. What have I done? Oh dear. That are now missing or need changing. In light of lag protection, we've got these hopper clocks here, which are hopefully going to be fairly lag free. That kind of thing. These nodes are probably going to need to be updated. There's so much things now. You've got clone and fill and execute, and oh god, there's so many sweet new additions to Minecraft which are going to make this a lot of fun. But it's things like over here, I don't know if I've done these yet, but it's give all players and then 300. I think this is the idea of the thing that now needs to be changed to Minecraft diamond leggings or leather leggings, and then it's that's the trousers, yeah. So a lot of those need changing before this works again. No, a lot of those need doing. I kind of not really sure what we're doing this episode. This is, by the way, day 2 of the Sparks 5 videos in 5 days challenge. So basically I've got 5 series. I actually have 4, but there's a new one coming out this week, which I'm really looking forward to starting. In light of the snapshots, and this is the day 2. So hopefully the plan of the 5-day challenge, by the way, is basically so that I can sort of try and make my uploads a little more regular, and I'm curious to see how hard it is to do 5 videos in 5 days. So the MEAP juice is still kind of sort of slightly broken. There's a new thing with the snapshot. You can do test 4, and then you can do all players, and then you can actually specify. You're supposed to be able to specify if they have an effect, but it currently seems to be broken. So you're supposed to be able to go active effects. Let me remember the syntax for this, and then you could do ID and then 1, and this should report all players with a speed effect, but it doesn't. I've reported this on the Minecraft Wikia, on the Minecraft Wiki, the bug report, the Atlassian, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, the bug reporter for Minecraft. I reported it. If you want to go upvote it, feel free, because currently it hasn't received much attention, but a lot of things you should be able to detect about players, such as their health and whether they are... all sorts of things don't work, even though they should, including whether they have a potion effect, because that would make this awesome. You know, we can change up the quality of the reaction time on these potions. There's also, and I think the MEAP juice needs redoing as a result of this again, you can actually place command blocks. Am I in the wrong snapshot? You can also, this is a dropper, that's why. If you have a dispenser, and I did show this, I did a snapshot video. If you're curious about all the different additions to this to this snapshot and maybe have some ideas, you can watch the video. So you can place these command blocks down now, and you can actually also keep information in them. So for instance, we could get ourselves some command blocks, say 1, say 2, and we can control middle click on these, and now this contains the say 1 command, and I can control middle click this one, and now this command block here contains the say 2 command. Put a torch here, put a torch here, and we can then, this will either place the say 1 or the say 2. 2. And if I do it again, it'll drop the 1. So there's some interesting randomization methods available to us now using this. I think that's a really cool change. I didn't even, when it was first released, I didn't even realize how cool that was. I was like, how is this going to be useful? But along with the clone command, you can do quite a lot with this, I think. I'm kind of rambling a lot for this episode, which I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to decide what to do. This hub, by the way, I'm liking it less and less. And the reason is, I've been thinking about this. When you're in here, if you haven't played this game before, if I just go inside, there we go. When you're inside and you started, it's not immensely clear what's going on. We've got these rules over here. But things like the MEAP juice, when you're using the MEAP juice, they're just splash potions, and not everybody is going to go into their inventory and hover over it to see exactly what it does. And I think this could do with redesigning. It really could. I need a space where we can display items, like have a little platform and then have the items sat on top, floating on top. You can actually now make items which can't be picked up. I completely missed, but you know what I mean. It'd be sort of sitting on a little pedestal. You can make items which can't be picked up and don't despawn. So it'd be quite possible for us to have display units for the different items in the game. And there's quite a lot of items we can add to the game now with the new command block things. So I think this whole setup needs changing. The circular thing with the admin panel up here, I think I'm going to have to rethink this. If anybody has any ideas, I hate building things, so if anybody has any suggestions or wants to mock something up for me, feel free, honestly. If you want to consider a nice layout, maybe where you can choose the maps easily, maybe have a display area and maybe some rules. I'm thinking about just giving people a rule book. A lot of multiplayer servers do that these days. So yeah. I'm going to go ahead and try and think up what we're going to do this episode. Alright, I've decided we're going to try doing something snapshotty today. I've been really wanted to try something. I want to make a MEAP juice bow with maybe a couple of hits to it, which wherever the arrow lands, we'll get a splash potion effect there. Now, I think I know how to do this if there was just one person with one kind of bow. But it's going to be tricky to make sure only arrows from a MEAP bow splash, if that makes sense. So I have a plan, an idea, but because of the slight brokenness of the snapshot at the moment, it might not work. Now, let's just start off by making an potentially ordinary MEAP juice bow, and I'll show you kind of how that works. And then we'll try and work out how we can potentially get it to only splash if it's come from a MEAP bow. Okay, so first of all, we've got a command block here which is trying to test for arrows. And I think this will only fire once the arrow lands. So it should be... No, it's on already. I was hoping it would only turn on. You can see that as soon as the arrow is fired, the light turns on. So what we could potentially do is, there's a couple of attributes that arrows have. If I just go check them a second, I'll pull them up on the screen. Okay, so according to the Minecraft wiki, the chunk format page, I'll put a link in the description, it's very useful. According to that, arrows have a couple of very unique data tags. The first one is in data, which tells it the metadata of the block that the arrow is stuck in. There's a pickup value, which tells you whether you can pick the arrow up or not. There's player, which indicates 1 or 0 whether the arrow belongs to a player or a skeleton. And then there's life, which is to do with the despawn time of the arrow. And then there's damage, which is a value which is supposed to affect how much damage the arrow causes when it fires. So it also has an in-ground value. So we're going to try, and this is, I'm not sure whether the snapshot's, oh dear, whether the snapshot's going to let me do this, because it's occasionally slightly broken, but we're going to try doing this. We're going to do in-ground, and then true. So hopefully this will now only turn on, this is the theory, when it lands. It might simply not turn on at all. When the arrow lands, well, that's interesting. What on earth is going on here? Let's just try. Okay, it is working, but I think every time this gets updated, it's... Yeah. Okay, there we go. Right, so I think that's working. So we can detect when the arrow has landed. That's good. Now, all the bows in the game are infinity bows. So you only need one arrow. So one way we could differentiate the arrow from being just an ordinary... Actually, I'm kind of skipping ahead of myself here. First of all, let's just make it so that if it detects an arrow in the ground, it's going to replace that arrow with a splash potion effect. Okay, so the next step we've got here is that when it detects an arrow in the ground, it's going to summon a thrown potion. Now we can set that thrown potion to have the same effect as a MEAP juice. That's fine. For now, I'm just going to leave it like that. The command here is just summon thrown potion 2 blocks above that command block. And we can add data tags at the end to specify the potion type, but I'm not going to bother with that right now because we're not even sure if this is going to work yet. And at the same time, or just after, we want to cause that thrown potion to be teleported to our arrow. And then the arrow needs to be deleted. Okay, here we go. This is the final thing. It might be able to go a little faster, but if we fire our arrow and it splashes into a thrown potion, we could give this a faster clock to make it react a bit faster. But basically what it's doing is, we've done this bit with testing for an arrow that's in the ground. Cool. We are summoning a thrown potion just above this block. Then we are teleporting the thrown potion, over to the arrow. And this has got a C value here, and the C is limit. So we're limiting it to 1. So the closest arrow will get the splash effect. Should get the splash effect. If I can fire them fast enough. Yeah, but and then finally it kills all arrows. Otherwise, if we didn't do that, it would continue to summon a splash potion there until the arrow is picked up. So potentially, this we'd have to put a thingy here, a little bit of dust like this, and now we would end up with potion right by that arrow all the time. It's not quite centered, which is a shame. But yeah, putting that last... Can I put dust here? Will that work? Make it a bit faster? Potentially. Let's see. Seems to work. So yeah, basically that would be sort of a MEAP bow. The problem here is that we can quite easily, in a battle like this, we've got hundreds of arrows everywhere from all the arrow shooting that people have been doing. And what's going to happen is somebody's going to fire a MEAP bow. I've got 2 repeaters on my hotbar here. Okay, someone's going to fire a MEAP bow. This is going to happen. The closest thing to this, the closest arrow to this circuit is going to be have its splash applied, and then the rest is just going to vanish. So it's not really done a MEAP bow thing. Now I was going to suggest that we test for another value here and give this bow a power value, because I think all the bows in the game are just plain bows, but I think we could test for the power value. So the arrow's damage, it's called damage, is apparently 2 for a normal arrow. So if we did damage 2, this should still work, I think. Yeah. However, if we did damage 3 0.5. I believe that the page says increased 0.5 per level of power enchantment on the bow. If the power enchantment is present, an additional 0.5 is added on. So power 1 gives a bonus of 1. So actually we want 3 will be a power 1 bow. So this will do nothing because the arrow had a power value of the ordinary power value. And I'm hoping that power value sticks to it when it sticks to the block. So let's give ourselves a power 1 bow quickly. I'll be right back. Okay, so we have a power 1 bow. Now, technically, if I fire this, it should work. There we go. So, normal arrow. Nothing. Another normal arrow. And between the two... Okay, so it's now detecting that it should only splash if it's fired from a certain power level of a bow. That's great. However, we've still got the same problem where this one here is indiscriminately checking for any arrow. And the problem is that this thing over here, these data tags on the end, have only been added for test for block, and I think one other. Let me just check what that is. This is a lot of referencing this episode, I'm sorry. Clear. It's clear. So it's test for block and clear. So we can test if this arrow with this special property exists, but we can't really do anything with it. Test for block is irrelevant to this. And then clear is for clearing inventory. So once we have this arrow down on the ground, I'm not really sure how to single it out from the other arrow types. And this is the problem. I mean, it's great to see that the whole power thing is working. But it would be great if we could kill only... And I'm pretty sure this is now not going to work. So we can say type equals arrow, and then we can do damage equals 3.0. And I'm pretty sure that kill command is not going to work at all now. Yeah, it errors because it doesn't accept data tags, and that's the problem. So, I mean, one thing we could do is have something which causes all the arrows in a game to do something. Like, this is my sort of backup plan, if we can't work out how to single out a certain arrow. And what I mean by that is basically that we could... I wonder... Could we use a scoreboard? I wonder if we can add arrows to a scoreboard. Let's do scoreboard objectives, add arrows, dummy. Scoreboard objectives, set display sidebar. So we've got an arrows scoreboard created now. If I got a clock here, added onto here, and did scoreboard players add all entities with a type of arrow. I don't know if this is actually going to help us. 2 arrows. If I fire an arrow now, player objective count. Player objective count. What's this saying? Set score of arrows for player blah, 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 to 1. Oh, wow. Oh, player names can't be larger than 16 for a scoreboard. That's not good. And that's going to keep... Oh, no. Oh, God. Okay, I've got to download the server now and go into MC Edit and delete that command block. Okay, right. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I've downloaded the world. I've got it on a local server host, and I've deleted the scoreboard with the arrows in it. The thing is that the arrows have every entity in the game has a UUID, which if I quickly fire an arrow over there, you can see if I do say at E, if I hover over item.tile.grass, what is that? How odd. Anyway, the arrow, you can see that it has this really long number at the bottom there. And that number was being added to the scoreboard as its ID, and scoreboards on multiplayer servers can only have a 16 character limit for the name. And since it's longer than 16, it crashed the server. So I had this really bright idea for something we could do. I thought, wouldn't it be neat if you could curse somebody so that if they were cursed and they walked up to an arrow, it would start spewing more arrows. I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. Until I realized that every arrow in range would do it, and it started doubling, basically exponentially doubling itself, and I nearly crashed Minecraft with that. So I need to rethink that slightly. But I thought it'd be kind of, what I really wanted was so that if you got near an arrow, it would shiver, and if you got close enough, it would fly into the air a little bit, so that if you were cursed, arrows nearby fired by other people would sort of fly up and have the potential of hitting you or your teammates. Problem is, unfortunately, you can't edit the data tags of existing entities, so I have to delete the existing arrow, replace them with something else, and then fire an arrow up in their place or something. I'm going to try it out because I reckon that'd be quite cool to do, though. Okay, so this basically works. If I just take a little bit of a stroll here, you'll see that any arrows near me will sort of fire into the sky, and do this sort of little dancey thing, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, you could curse somebody like this. The other interesting thing is that it struggles to, like, your arrows don't always shoot properly. Occasionally they bounce up, so it's a real curse, let me tell you. Not too complicated how it works. At the moment, anybody nearby will have this happen to them. What on earth? Okay, hang on. Right. So first of all, what it does is it uses the new execute command. So execute all players. So execute command allows you to run a command as if you were someone else. So this command block is executing a command as if it was every player. So every player is going to have this command executed for them, and every player is going to execute a command on the behalf of any arrow within 4 blocks of them. So if there's an arrow within 4 blocks of me, I will tell it to create a command. So what that arrow is going to do is it's going to summon an item, a stone button to be exact, just because it's fairly small and hidden. So, I mean, this is a very conceptual thing at the moment. So summons an item, a button, and after that it does this one, then this one, then this one. So it's going to go, first it's going to do the same thing. All players on behalf of the arrows, it's going to kill all entities that are arrows. So that was in the ground where the item is, and that has a radius of 1, so it only destroys the arrow that is right next to that item. Next, it summons, again, all this execute stuff. It will summon an arrow with a upwards motion of 0.5 right by it. So that causes the arrow to fire into the sky. And then finally, it deletes itself. So all items within a radius of 4 of the player will kill all items within a radius of 1 of itself. So it destroys itself. So what that creates then is this sort of a flying effect. So you do get buttons that sort of appear on the ground. Not really sure. I wonder how hard it is to sort of walk through this in survival. If I'm trying to walk through here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it could catch you unawares. It's kind of funny as well. I'm not really sure how you would curse somebody with this. Because it's definitely a downside to have this happening around you. Ow! See? Especially if you're trying to sprint or something. So I don't know if anyone has any good ideas for how we could curse somebody with this. What sort of item we should give a player for them to be cursed. Or maybe it could be a MEAP juice option. I don't know. I kind of want to have some things that are other than MEAP juice as well. We failed on the MEAP juice bow, but we've got something kind of funny here. which could potentially be used. Might need a little bit of work. I mean, it's leaving ground at the moment. And in fact, I think if we threw an item in front of us, it would probably turn into an arrow. Yeah, it does. So a bit of work, but I don't know if anyone has any ideas for how they reckon that people should be cursed. I think I'm going to leave it here for today. It's been an okay episode. We got a couple of ideas done. There's just so much you can do these days with the snapshot. But boing. I reckon that's going to be kind of cool. So thank you very much for watching. I asked some questions. If you want to leave some answers, that's cool. I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.